Hi, welcome to the first section of the front-end navigator course. In this section, we are going to take a look at HTML. So we are going to discuss the fundamentals of HTML, what HTML is, why you need it. Then we'll discuss about tags, elements. Then we'll create our first website with HTML. Then I'll take you through some basic tags you need to know to get started with HTML. But before we dive in, let's answer the question, which is HTML? So what is HTML? HTML, or hypertext markup language, is used to create the markup of your website, just like the name suggests. So the markup is simply the structure of your website, or you can put it this way, the skeleton of your website. So HTML is used to structure the skeleton of the website. So now we understand what HTML is. So why do you need to learn HTML? So just like we said, HTML is used to structure your website. So before you can create any website, you need to understand what HTML is before you can dive in creating awesome looking website. HTML set the foundation of your web development journey. HTML is the first language you need to learn as a web developer before you move to any other complex languages. So now we have a basic grasp of what HTML is and why we need it. So we can dive into creating our first website. But before you start creating anything, we need to understand some concept, which is elements, tags, and attributes. So let's start with a tag. An HTML tag is a special set of characters which tell your browser how to display the elements enclosed in it. For example, we can have a tag which tell our browser that, okay, this text is a heading, so make sure it's a heading, or this right here is an image, or this is an input. So don't worry about text right now. So if we start coding and writing some code, you will understand them further. So next we have an element. An element is simply the building blocks of your HTML web page. So an element has a start tag, a content, and an end tag. So an element must have a start, a content, and the end tag. But some elements do not have the end tag because they do not have any content inside them. So once we start creating, we'll get to those special elements with no closing tags. But elements usually have a closing and an opening tag with a content in it. So next we have attributes. Attributes provide additional information to your element. So an attribute usually have an attribute name and a value. For example, some elements might have attributes that can set the width and height of that element, or even style any element. So don't worry if you don't understand any of these for now. So once we start coding, we'll get hands on attributes, elements, and tags. So we have a basic grasp of what HTML is, why HTML, and then we understand what elements, tags, and attributes are. So let's take things a little bit further. Now we can start creating our first website. But before we create our first website, we need to understand the structure of any website. So any website follow this structure. There are some special tags you must include in any of your website or web page. So first we have the doc type declaration, which is used to tell the browser the version of HTML you are using. Then we have the HTML tag, which contains all the block of codes you write in your HTML file. And we have the head tag and the body tag. So the head tag is used to contain metadata. So metadata add a little bit of information to your website. And we have the title tag, which is inside the head tag. So the title tag is used to define the title of your website. Then we have our body tag, which is used to enclose all visible elements in our website. But before we start coding, we need a text editor. A text editor is simply used to write our code. There are a lot of text editors out there, but we recommend you use VS Code. So let's open our browser to download and install VS Code. So I'll just search for VS Code. I'll select the first link on top, which is code.visualstudio.com. Once you select it, then you can click on the download button. Then you can select your operating system. Since I'm on Windows, I'll click on Windows. Now it will start downloading. Once it's done downloading, you have the setup. You can simply select the setup, right click, you can run as administrator. Just click on I accept, then next. Then you can create a desktop icon, then click on next, then install. So just uncheck this so that you not launch it and click on finish. So we have successfully downloaded and installed VS Code. In the next lesson, we'll look at how to create our first HTML website. I have my desktop open. So the first step I want to take is to create a folder. So I'll right click, then new, then folder. So I can rename this folder and I can choose to call it, since this is a front-end course, I can just call it front-end course. So just name your folder like this, front-end course. Then you can double click to open your folder. Once you have the folder open, you can start structuring your lessons. So the first lesson is about HTML, so I'll create a new folder. Then I can call it HTML. So inside the HTML folder, I'll just double click and open. Then we can start creating our first website with HTML. So how do we do so? So send the cursor over here, and then we'll try to open VS Code. So send your cursor over here, then click, then write CMD, which is the short form for command prompt. So once you type CMD, you have this prompt open, so you can execute over here. So we want to open our folder in VS Code. So how do we achieve that? So code space period, then you press enter to open this in VS Code. So once you have it open, you have something like this. So this is VS Code, but I'm sure for you have a pop-up. To trust authors, just click on yes. So once you click on the yes, then you have these interfaces. So if you check over here, you have some couple of tabs. So for you not have some of these tabs because these are extensions I have already installed. But for you don't have those extensions, so you're not supposed to see some of these over here. So if you send your cursor on top, we have the file over here. So you can create a new file, or you can simply open another folder. So if you have a folder containing any project, you can simply click over here and navigate to that folder and open that folder. Or you can create a new file over here. So I'll click over here to cancel it. And then I want to wrap up some settings. So I want to have the auto save setting. So I'll click on settings. So just click on this settings icon, then settings, and then click on workspace. So click on workspace. So what we want to do is that we want to have the auto save. So whenever we make changes to any of our file, it will be automatically saved and we don't have to save it manually. So click on text editor, then click on files. So you can scroll, you have this option for auto save. Select the option, then set it to after delay. Then you can set the time over here. By default is 1 second. So if I put something like 3, so 3000 milliseconds or 3000. So 3000 milliseconds means 3 seconds. So I can close my settings. So now if I come, I'll have this VS Code folder over here. This is just a settings folder created by VS Code to preserve our settings we have made for this project. So what we want right now is to install the live server extension. So we are going to use the live server to run our HTML file. So you might want to bring your cursor over here to the extensions tab, then click over there. So once you click, you have the option to search for any extension. So just look for the live server extension. So once you have it, so this is the live server extension. Let me increase it. So this is the extension over here. Just look at the icon, and then you have the option to install over here. Just click to install it. I've already installed it, so that's why I don't have the install over here. So make sure to click over here to install it. So the next extension we want is auto close. So you auto close. Is it auto close tag? Okay, this is it, auto close. So this will automatically close your tags. So just install it, and after that we need the auto rename. So something auto rename. So this is the auto rename. So install the auto rename tag. So it will come in handy, and I'll explain why you need this tag. So just install it and close it. So once you are done with the installing, just send your cursor over here. So this is the Explorer tab. So click on the Explorer tab. It will simply bring the folder containing your project. So this is the folder. So now I want to create my first website or my first HTML file. So to do so, I'll send my cursor over here. That's the new file. Then I'll click. So I can give it a name. So I can write something like index. So write index.html. So .html simple means it's an HTML file. So make sure you have this dot over here. Then you will have the HTML extension. So after that, press enter. So once you press enter, it will automatically open the file. So this is my index.html file. So now we can start writing our code. So the first code I want is the doc type. So once you open, you have this over here. That's the doc type. Just select it and it will automatically close this for you. So this will tell your browser the version of HTML you are using. So after you have it, we'll have our HTML tag, which will simply wrap every code we write for our website. So inside we have two sections. We have the first section, which is the head section, and then we have our next section, which is the body section. We use the head section to write metadata. That's data adding other informations to our website. For example, the title and viewpoint. And next we have the body. The body simply incorporates all visible elements of your website, like your input, your buttons, your navbars, your articles, and your footers. So everything goes inside the body tag. So let's go to the head tag over here. Then we can have a title tag. So if you check, we have the opening, then we have the closing over here. So this is the opening tag, and this over here is your closing tag. So we have the title. So you can write the title for your website. So this will be displayed on your title bar. So if I write something like front, then end, navigator. So if I write, so this is my title. So you just start writing. So once you start writing something, you see this dot, this white dot over here. So it means it's not safe. So if you wait 3 seconds, it will save it and the white dot will be over. So that's the use of our autosave. So I have my title, which is front and navigator. So inside my body, you can just write any text over here. So I can have hello world, then I'll have it over here. So I have my hello world. So minimize this, then you can just close this. So after that, can simply bring your cursor. So this is your file. This is our index.html file. I can simply select it and then right click and open. So I'll open it with my browser. It will be open in my browser. So once you open it in your browser, and then let me increase it. So this will be our title, front end navigator, and this is the text. So this is the text, hello world. So let me increase it. So we have our text over here, then we'll have our title over here. So we can minimize this, then we can open back over here. But before we start, I want to explain something for you, which is comments. So comments are used to explain your code. So they add explanations to our code, and comments are not read by your browser, so they are not displayed to the user. So for example, if I create a comment, so if I open and then I put exclamation mark, then I put dash dash, it will bring a comment like this. So if I write something like maybe greetings, so can I spell greetings? So greetings, sorry, greetings. So this is a comment. So if we check, the color is different from this over here. So if I open back and then I head over here, we will not have the comment over here. So if I refresh, we're still not going to have our comment. So if you minimize again and then you come over here and you write something like hi, so we have hi. So wait for it to save. So once it's saved, you can open back. So if you come, you're not going to find the hi, but if you refresh, you get your hi over here. So we'll have to manually refresh our files to see the changes. So to fix this, we are going to use the live server we've just installed. So once you install the live server, you have the go live over here. Just click on it, and in case you don't have this go live, you can right click, then you can scroll, then click on open live server. And in case you don't have these two, this and this over here, just simply close your VS Code and reopen your project. And once you have it installed, I'm sure you have it over here and you have it over here again. So I'll click on go live to start it. So once I start it, we'll have our file open. So this is the file. So now if I come and then I make any changes, so if I make changes, so let me close this, let me remove the hi, and I'll have welcome to my first, then I'll have website. So wait for it to save. Once it's saved, you can bring your cursor over here. So now we'll have welcome to my first website, and you don't need to refresh it anytime you make changes to your file. So now we can open back again, then we can remove this. So now this is our comment, and the comment is not displayed. So once you come, you're not going to find the comment over here. So the comment is used to explain our code. So if I bring the comment on top, and then I have my comment before the greetings. So once I'm writing anything, or if I give my code to someone to maybe debug the code or to just glance at the code, the person can simply look at the comments and the person will know each block of code what I'm doing. So if the person get to this session, the person will know that okay, I'm greeting users over here. So let me remove this, then I'll change this to headings. So headings. So that's our first element we are going to discuss. So the heading element is used to add titles to your website. So once you visit any website, we have a bold and a big title over there. So we can use our heading tags to achieve that. So the heading tags ranges from 1, so it ranges from 1 to 6. So 1 to 6. So let me convert this to a comment. Once I have, so this is the headings, so they range from 1 to 6. So if you check, so VS Code comes with a shortcut to create a comment. So if I hold command, then forward slash or control and forward slash, it will automatically create a comment. So I can create a comment, and then it ranges from 1 to 6. So now if I come, it means I can have a heading 1, 2 heading 6. So I can have heading 1, then heading 2, Then I can have heading 3, then heading 4, 5, then 6. So let me have just 6 over here. But we don't have heading 7. So if I write heading 7, then we are not going to get anything. So this is the last, or this is the least heading we have. So if I go to my heading 1 over here, so I can write something like hi, then I can write something like welcome to the, can I spell front end? So sorry, front end navigator course. So I have my first, oh my god, so I have my first heading over here, which simply says hi, welcome to the front end navigator course. So we can have a sub heading or a smaller heading over here. So I can write something like, in this course you will learn to create good websites. So this is my subheading. So I can have an H3, so just write anything, maybe hello, this is H3, and then I can write something like hi, this is H6. So now wait for it to save. So once it's saved, open back. So if you open, we'll have our first heading over here, very big. Then we'll have the second heading, then we'll have the H6. So the bigger the number, the smaller the font size. So this is how to create headings with HTML. So I can comment this out. So we'll have our first heading. So if you hold everything and select it and use Command or Control+//, it will turn everything into a comment. So what I want is the first heading. So I'll have hi, then I'll have welcome to the front end navigator course. So now if I open, I'll have hi, welcome to the front end navigator course. So now I can simply come and then I'll remove this. Then we can create another section for this text. So to do this, we are going to discuss about the div and the paragraph tag. So can I spell paragraph? So div and paragraph. So just copy this, then paste it over here so that it will be on top. Then we'll come to div and paragraph. So how do we create a div and a paragraph? So first, let's discuss what a div is and what a paragraph is. So a div is an HTML element which is used to create different sections of your website and style them. So it is used to style different sections of your website. And we have the paragraph. So the paragraph is used to create just our normal paragraph we know, and the paragraph comes with a margin on top and at the bottom of each element. So if I come and then I have a div over here, then I can copy from here to here. So let me leave the hi and then I can paste this over here. So once I do this, then I open, then we'll have hi, then I have welcome to the front end navigator course over here. So if you check, we are still having some margins over here because the margin or the space between this and this has been affected by the H1. So the H1 by default comes with a margin. So if I copy this div, then I bring the div down and leave it over here. Then if I come, we'll have this div over here, and this time we don't have spaces between this div and this div. So to have a space or a margin between this and this, we can use a paragraph. So I can remove this, then I can have a p tag. The p tag is used to create a paragraph. So I can write something like, here you can learn to create minimal websites for your clients. So I have my text over here. So here you can learn to create minimal websites for your clients. So now if I open, then I come, we are going to have a space between our first div Then we'll have our paragraph over here. So now there's a space between over here. Then we are going to have a space at the bottom. So if I copy this, then I bring it down, then I paste. Then if I come, and then we'll have a space between, and we'll have a space on top over here. So that's the use of the paragraph tag. The paragraph tag is simply used to create a margin both top and the bottom of your element. So to create different sections of your element. For example, if you are creating blocks, you might want to use paragraph to separate your block topics. So that's the use of our paragraph element. So next up, we are going to create a list. So how do we create a list in HTML? So I'll have a list, and then I can come down over here and we can start creating our list. For lists, we have two types of lists. We have the unordered and the ordered. So can I spell ordered? So unordered and the ordered list. For the unordered list, we use bullet points to display them, but for our ordered list, we use numbers. And for the unordered list, the order doesn't really matter, but for our ordered list, the order really matters. For example, let's create an unordered list. So an unordered, I spelled my ordered, so ordered, unordered list. So to create an unordered list, we use the UL. So this will wrap all our list items. So this acts as a container to each list items. So we can have a list of fruits. So I'll have my first list. So to create a list item, we use the LI. This shows a list item. So for our first item, I can have something like orange. Then I'll have my second list item, which I'll call apple. Can I spell apples? So apple. Then I'll have another list item, which I can call it the kiwi. So now we have a list of fruits. So I can go on top, then I can have an H2. Then I can write something like fruits. Then I can leave it. So this is a heading I've created for this section. So now if I come, so we'll have fruits, then we'll have orange, then we'll have apple, then we'll have the kiwi fruit over here. So next up, we are going to the ordered list. So how do we create an ordered list? So ordered list. So how do we create an ordered list? So ordered list. So for our unordered list, we use UL. So for the ordered list, we are going to use OL. So OL means ordered list. So we can have a first item. So we are going to create a list of our favorite courses. So I can have an H2, then I can call it courses. So sorry, something like courses. I spell courses. So courses. For our first course, I'll have HTML. Then I can come to have my second course, which will be CSS. Then I can have my third course, which will be JavaScript. So we have a list of our favorite courses and they are wrapped in an ordered list. So now if I bring my cursor, then if I go, then we are going to get this. So why are we getting this 7? So if I open back my code, so we have a 7, so we move the 7. So now if I come, so now we are going to have HTML, CSS, then we are going to have JavaScript. So this is simply how to create different list items. So next, we are going to create an anchor tag or a link. So what is an anchor tag or a link? So an anchor tag is used to link two sections of your website together. For example, if I have an about page and a home page and a sign up page and a login page, how do I take users to different sections or different pages? So we use the anchor tag to achieve this. So to create an anchor tag, we use the A. So the A is used to create an anchor tag, and it comes with the href attribute, which is used to specify the path to your resource, whether it's a page or whether it's a or whether it's an external website. So now if I go, so let's create a different page over here. So I can create a page over here, then I can call this page so something like contact, then .html, then I'll press enter. So inside my contact.html, so we are going to use a shortcut. So hold shift then 1, or just look for this exclamation mark on your keyboard, then select this, and VS Code will automatically give you the boilerplate for your HTML file. But this comes with some meta tag. We have our first meta tag over here, which is used for encoding our HTML file. We have the second meta tag, which is the viewport, and is used to set the scale of your website, and initially is 1. So now we have our title, then we can call this our contact page. So I can come and then I'll have an H1, then I can have contact, then I can call it contact page. So I can have something like a div, then I can write something like welcome to my contact page. Let's spell contact, so contact page. So now I'll simply come over here, then I'll create another page, so I can call it about.html. Then inside my about.html, then I'll have the exclamation mark, then I'll have my boilerplate. So I'll have my about page, then I'll have an H1, so H1, then I'll have about, then page. So I can have a div, and here I'll write something like welcome to my about page. Can I spell my welcome? So welcome. So now we have 3 pages. We have the index.html, we have the about, and we have the contact page. So how do website know, or how do the server know which page to render immediately someone visit your website? So if you visit youtube.com, we'll have their first page. So how will the server look at these pages and select one? Automatically, when you deploy your website online, the server looks for the index.html file, and then it will pick the index.html file and save it as your home page. So this will be your home page once someone visits the website, and these are other pages. So how do we link our home page to these other pages? So first, let's try to go to the other pages. So if you come, this is your website URL. So if I remove the index.html over here, just remove the index.html, then you press enter, but it will simply give you your index.html file. So if I refresh, I'll simply have my index.html file over here, and we'll have the other files over here, but the server will simply save the index.html file. So if I want to go to the other file, I can have my contact.html, then I can have my about.html, so about.html. So make sure you have a dot over here. So now I want to have links so that I can click on the links and navigate to these pages. So it's pretty simple. So remove this and then come back to your index.html file. So now if I open my index.html file, I can go on top to where I have the hi and welcome to my front-end navigator. Inside here, I can create links. So I can have something like an unordered list. I'll have my first list item, and this will be my first link. So to create our link, we use the A tag, and here we'll have the href, which is the location. So we are going to the contact page. So I'll write, since it's on the same directory as my index.html file, I'll simply write contact.html because it's not inside any folder. So I can have contact, so contact. So I can copy the list, and then I can paste the list item. Then I can change this to something like about. So here I'll have my about.html. So contact, and we have the about. So now if I come, we'll have contact and about. And if I click on contact, I'll go to the contact page. And if I go back, click on about, then I'll go back to the about page. So what if we have these in a separate folder? So it's a good practice to always have your pages in a separate folder and leave the index.html file on the root directory. So what do I mean? I can create a folder, then I can call this pages, then I'll press enter. So I can grab my contact.html, click and hold, then drop it on the pages folder, and then click on move, click and hold, drop your about, then move it over here. So now they are inside the pages folder. So now if I come, contact will have cannot get contact.html because it's inside the page folder. So if I have pages, is it page or pages? So let me check. So it's pages, so pages, then I'll put / again, they will have contact.html. If I press enter, then we'll come to our contact page. So how do we achieve it over here? So it's pretty simple. So if we come, so here we'll put a / then we'll put the name of our folder. So it's pages, then I'll put / again, then I'll select my contact. So now I'll come to the about, then / then I'll select pages / then about.html. So now if I come contact, then and about over here. So what if we want to go back to our home page? So I can have another link over here. So let me just leave it and copy. So let me copy this UL, the another list, then I'll go to my about page, then I'll simply come and then I'll paste it over here. So now we want to add the home page, so I'll add it on top. So add it on top, then I'll add the anchor tag, and here I'll write something like home over here. So to go back to our home page, so if you check, the pages is inside the folder, so the contact and the about page is inside the folder. So how do we go back to the index.html? So it's pretty simple. So you put 2 dots over here. So this 2 dot means, so the 2 dot means go back to the previous folder. So it means since we are on the pages folder, go back to the previous folder, which is our root folder over here. So go to the root folder and then look for the index.html file. So now I can copy this UL, then I can paste it inside my contact. So inside my contact. So now if I go back, we'll have home. If I click home, I'll come back over here. Then I can go to the about page. Then I can click on home, contact, then I can click on home. Then I can navigate between my pages. So that is all for this lesson. We have successfully created our first HTML website. So next up, we are going to take things a little bit further and look at how to add images, create tables, add forms, and also look at semantics and why it's important. So I'll be waiting to take you on the course. See you soon. Congratulations! You've just created your first HTML website. Then you understood the basics of HTML and what every HTML file must contain. So you have just taken your first step to becoming a front-end developer. So in our next section, we'll learn the advanced HTML concepts. We'll look at how to add images, videos, audios, and also handle some form elements, and also take a look at semantics, why it's important and why you must include semantics in your HTML file. So I'll be waiting to see you in the next course.